Are you struggling to learn to embrace uncertainty? Do you feel like there is a constant push and pull of what you don't know and what you do? By the end of this video, you will be able to sit comfortably in your space of uncertainty and belief, knowing what you're missing. This is important because our ability to handle uncertainty is an essential component to all growth and development. Before we get into this, though, let's talk about the brain. There is a natural push and pull between the left and right hemispheres of the brain. Dr. Ian McGilchrist wrote a book called The Master and His Emissary. And in that, he spent 30 years looking into the way the hemispheres of the brain interact. And the discovery that I thought was most compelling for me was this push and pull between the hemispheres of the brain is actually an essential component to us evolving to a higher level, so that we can have a better understanding. Each hemisphere on its own is not sufficient. The left side of the brain is the concrete side that allows you to express the emotions, the feelings, the thoughts that you have running within inside you to the person in front of you so that they can understand, oh, there's something going on here. And they can then receive that and process it, right? And this is how we interact with the real world, the left side of the brain. It's very tangible. It's very full of concrete evidence. It's easily defined. However, there is always much more than what is easily defined and seeable and tangible. There is the emotional side. There is all sorts of things beyond the nuances at play that we have to deal with. And the left side of the brain is incapable of doing that. We must then take that information to the right side of the brain and resolve this. And if we do not do that, we will not come up with the best solution. We only have one half of the puzzle. However, it is hard to do this because as we bring that information back, it creates a dissonance within ourselves of what is real and what is possible. And the nuances there can be really hard to sit with. And it's not comfortable for many of us, and so we avoid it. And what we need to do is get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And the best way that I can see how this has been evident in my life is through physical activity. There are so many things that, when you start doing, you feel uncomfortable. And with lifting weights, I started doing that. And funny enough, my coach or my trainer, when I started lifting weights, he said, in weightlifting, there's really only two moves, a push and a pull. And you have to do both to get the full capacity of your body to respond and build the muscle you want to build. And isn't that interesting that our brain has the same thing? And I think true principles are that way. When we face a true principle, it is true across all platforms of performance. So here's 4 steps and how to learn how to manage that in your life, whether that be lifting weights, making a business decision, looking at a relationship, whatever it is in your life where you are facing uncertainty and don't know what to do, these steps should work for you. So first of all, now that you understand how the brain works and the importance of both sides of the brain having access, what we need to do is accept the push and pull. Accept that the push and pull of our brains helps us to increase our capacity to handle uncertainty. If we accept that process and engaging in it will help us to increase our capacity, then you can start to be like, okay, I'm going to sit with this for a while, right? It's the same with lifting weights. When I first started lifting with my buddy, he had been doing it for a lot longer than me, and he was benching, I think, 185 pounds, repping it out. And I started, and I think I started at 155, and I was like, struggling. And the way my trainer wanted me to move that weight, he wanted it to be a fluid, easy motion, back and forth, push, pull, at a rate that I could not hit at 155 pounds. And he dropped me to 135 pounds. That made me feel very, very awkward. I didn't like the fact that I had to drop down to such a low weight. And I started there, but I kept at it, right? And I was uncomfortable with that space, but as I kept at it, things changed. So the second step is dealing with uncertainty in manageable increments. I was not able at that point, with my muscles at the way they were, to lift 185 pounds. It wasn't uncertainty in my mind, but it was I was incapable physically of doing that. It's the same thing when we feel uncertainty. Sometimes there are spaces that are so uncertain and so precarious for us mentally, emotionally, physically, we cannot yet deal with them. So you have to break it down into manageable increments. Reduce what it is you're exposing yourself to. If the problem that you're dealing with in uncertainty is within a relationship, rather than deal with the whole complexity of the relationship, pick one small thing that you are uncomfortable with, expose yourself to it. Remain in that space. Get comfortable with what that means to you. As you look at it, align yourself with your body. Feel how that hits you inside yourself, and you'll begin to see, oh, this uncertainty has something to teach me. There are things in it that I had not noticed before within the nuances of all of this emotion that you didn't look at. When you expose yourself in manageable increments that are not overwhelming, because if you get too uncertain, you move into fight or flight. You need to keep it in a space that doesn't move you into that panicky zone. When you're not in a panic, you get to learn, right? And then you can course correct, which is step number 3. As you're dealing with this uncertainty, you will make decisions and you will take action on certain things that you see as you are making that play between the two sides of everything that you see that you're unsure on. And interestingly, when a plane sets a course to fly, say from LA to Hawaii, they do not just set a coordinate, which is to drive them in one direction exactly and land on the tarmac in Hawaii. They are constantly course correcting these planes as they fly. In fact, they're only on course to hit the final destination 94% of the time. The rest of the time, they're moving back and forth. And as a plane flies with all of the rotation of the earth and the wind and everything that goes on around a plane, it must constantly redirect where it's flying so it can get to its final destination. And it does it quickly. So if you're okay with uncertainty and you're dealing with it in manageable increments and you're looking at what it does to improve your situation, and you're listening to your emotions and how it hits you, you will see as you take action, oops, this is not the right way to go. This is creating more chaos. And you pull and you change direction, you keep going because you're finding your way. You're kind of booming, bouncing off the waves. Imagine you're in a bowling alley and you got the railings up, right? This is your course. You're going to go down that. And if you just keep correcting with those railings up, you can bounce all the way down the aisle and you'll be fine, right? That is how you deal with it. And then in order to really, really take advantage of this process, if you can recognize, I'm going to change course as quickly as I can when I feel out of line, I'm going to manage only the small portions of uncertainty that don't drive me into fear and fight or flight. You know, you're going to understand that there is a natural push and pull between things. Then you can get curious. And this is where the magic starts to happen. When you're faced with this kind of feeling of, oh my gosh, what's going on here? We often lose our sense of curiosity. We pull away. We don't look. We act out of instinct or fear or just a wish not to have to deal with these uncomfortable emotions. Curiosity moves you through that. If you're feeling uncomfortable, ask yourself, why? Why does this make me uncomfortable? What's the problem here? And as you play with that in your mind and you feel it in your body, try to go between both places. And eventually you will find something that clicks and falls into place and feels good. And then you can move ahead until it changes. And then you change direction, move into a place that feels good and move ahead. As you keep doing this over and over again, you'll find the progress that you make is incredible. And you'll find that uncertainty becomes a place where you build your most powerful solutions and you have your greatest strides and you begin to feel the advantage of staying in that place, right? When I lift weights, I've been lifting this week and every week, I feel soreness in my muscles. I feel some pain if I really dig into it. But what I have learned is that I actually crave that feeling. When I have not worked out for a long time, that feeling overwhelms me. The pain is too much. But when I continue to work out, that pain becomes something I crave. And it is the same with your mindset. It is the same with your emotional state. And when you engage with people, say in a boardroom, and you have many diverse opinions and different methodologies of how to solve a problem, if you allow that conversation to break down without a solution and everyone gets angry and you just shut it down, nothing good will happen. But if you can all stay in there in a place of curiosity and open discussion and unease and be comfortable with that, well, these are teams in the business world that really, really deliver. They are the ones that are going to deliver singular event after singular event that'll escalate your company's performance to new levels because you stay in that space hearing all aspects of the whole vision until there is a path that becomes clear and you act on it. Do that for yourself. Allow the chaos and the voices in your mind and everything that goes on to be heard, and listen to the wisdom that they have to tell you. And own that discomfort and unease that you're feeling, well, that's a sign of growth. That's a sign of opportunity. That's a sign of the hope and potential that you can deliver to the world if you will resolve it by course correcting, following those 4 steps. I don't know if you've had a problem with this, but if you have, I'd love to hear what you do to deal with the uncertainty in your life and how you overcome that and act. Or I'd like to know what you're struggling with right now. And stick around with me. Like, follow, subscribe. I got a good video coming up right now. It's called How I Made Fear My Friend. This is something you're going to want to know about if you want to deal with uncertainty. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me. I'm James Burnham, and watch this video, and we'll talk more later.